goodness. Welcome, you guys. Welcome to Tribeca Designs. My name is Rebecca and I love to sew. I love to upcycle. I love to design. I love to refashion. I love to make. Like so many of you, I absolutely love to create. I appreciate you joining me. Thank you for selecting this video for your viewing pleasure, as I hope it will turn out to be. So I am going to share with you all, I'll call this an introduction to a collection that I recently created for a fashion show I was asked to participate in. I created a 10 look collection for this show that I affectionately named Upcycle Blues because I got it bad right now, the upcycling blues. And blue is representative of the color of all of the garments in this collection as well. So I got the blues and I was sewing everything in the color of blue. But I think you're gonna find these pieces to be very functional. My design aesthetic is what I like to refer to as casually chic. Yes, that means you can be casual in these garments, but yet be very sophisticated, very chic, very modern, very just, hey, got it going on. These garments involve some classics and some not so classic fibers that make them unique pieces, one of a kind pieces of wearable art. I do need to give you a little bit of a disclaimer about this video. Unfortunately, I have yet to receive the footage of the actual models walking the runway. That was done by the professional videographer of the show. I'm still waiting for that footage, but I did not want to wait too long before I start sharing this collection with you guys. So at the end of what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually give you some footage of the details. So I'm going to be modeling the pieces. This is one of the pieces. I'll show it to you in just a minute. And at the end of the video, or somewhere within the video, I'll insert a little clip of the young lady who modeled it for me at the show. See, eventually when I get the footage, I'll share the entire runway with you guys. But without further ado, I want to go ahead and get into this piece that I'm wearing. I'm rocking one piece that I refer to as upped, honey, because this thing has been upcycled. Do you hear me? So does anyone remember this sleeve that I was working on for another garment a few months back? And many of you said, oh, that I can't wait to see what you do with that sleeve. Well, honey, it's been done, and here it is. Upcycle blues. What does it mean? What, you may ask, is the logic behind it? So let's define the word upcycle. To put it quite simply, it's about producing sustainable fashions from pre-existing garments and fibers. It's rebirth and rejuvenation, sort of like a second chance. And we all need a second chance every now and then. There's something spiritual about it, kind of like God giving us new life, turning us into something new. You must be able to look at a garment or textile and envision it as something entirely different. I got the upcycling blues. I'm in love with this piece. Who is beautiful? And you guys, if I may say so myself, I have to express this. This is my work. This is something I'm very passionate about doing and providing and sharing, not only here on the YouTube community for inspiration as to what you can do with some of your projects, but also don't get it twisted. I am launching the sale of my online store, Tribeca Designs. In fact, you can go to my Etsy shop that I just set up today. Hey, and get this if you want to. All the details about the garment are on the site. I'm a one-woman show and I'm starting out slow, but you can believe you're going to get an item that is consciously and exquisitely crafted. Okay, I have too much respect for your hard-earned dollars, okay, than to just do a little snip snip, create something and then try to sell it to you when you could just snip snip and do it, yourself. I am very passionate about garment construction and I am sensitive about my art. That being said, I think I might have, oh my God, not only sharing my first runway collection with you guys, and the first I've done in years anyway, but I think I might have just a little teeny rant here today. And you guys know I like to keep it positive. I like to keep it spiritual. I don't, that's not what I'm here for, but I'm just going to try and be real humble and gentle and say this. Okay, sometimes when you're excited about the work you're creating and you want to share that with others that are doing similar work, sometimes you may get a little side comment. And let me say this. My grandmother, who taught me how to sew and was my sewing inspiration, used to tell me, baby, there's nothing new under the sun. But I can honestly tell you that I do not go and try to find somebody else's work to mimic, to, pass off as my own. My design inspiration comes from within. It comes from the textiles that are available to me. Tribeca Designs, I feel like my designs are divinely inspired. I believe God has endowed me with this gift. And at the top of that triangle, of that trinity that represents Tribeca Designs, is my Heavenly Father. Father, Son, Holy Spirit plus Becca. That is Tribeca Designs. So if you didn't know, now you know. But I'm not trying to, but I have to say this. Don't tell me that everybody is doing what I'm doing, because that's simply not true. I understand there are other upcyclers, there are other seamstresses, there's other designers, but I'm putting a unique twist on things that I personally have not seen done. I'm not saying that it hasn't been done, but I didn't go out there and scrounge around and try to find out what somebody else is doing and then try to copy that, okay? So, for example, I haven't seen anyone using puffer vest in their upcycles, okay? This is a puffer vest upcycle that I did back in October of last year. I haven't seen it done before where anyone is using quilted pillowcases to turn a puffer vest into a full-on coat or jacket. The full tutorial for this upcycle is available on my website. This is a great piece. I haven't seen anyone using puffers in their upcycles. Let me give you another example. This was the second one that I upcycled. I did cutouts on this one and then took the pieces and put them back into the jacket in different places. I haven't seen anyone doing cutouts and puffers. The jacket that I just showed you started out as a puffer vest. Again, using quilted pillowcases, adding some denim elements. Just trying to give you guys something unique and different out there amongst us sustainable fashion designers. And now you guys know, well, maybe you don't know, but I'm getting ready to tell you. I'm very new to the YouTube community, right? Been out here producing videos, sewing related content for about a year and a half, so not very long at all. And when I started my channel, from the very beginning, since the onset, first 3 videos, immediately came out the gate saying, hey, don't snooze on the bedding departments when you go to thrift stores. Consider these materials that are in the linens and bedding departments when you go to the thrift stores. Trying to encourage everybody, hey, there's a lot of good stuff out there that you can also use when you do an upcycle. You don't have to just start with clothes. And again, side comments. Oh, it's not an upcycle if it's not clothes to start. That is absolutely not true, you guys. I mean, come on. Anything can be upcycled. A chair can be upcycled. I mean, a hamper, anything that you take that's been discarded and repurpose it into something current and useful is an upcycle. So yes, it is an upcycle if you take a quilted blanket or a quilted pillowcase and make a garment out of it. But you do have to actually know how to sew, construct from start to finish to do that. I mean, with an upcycle, let's be real, a lot of the sewing is done for you. So again, have respect for the craft. Don't dog on patterns. Patterns are essential for good garment construction. Don't dog on somebody else's technique. And especially if you're going to turn around and use those techniques later on anyway. That's just so not cool. Let's have some integrity. And so for someone to try to belittle me by telling me that, oh, everybody's doing that. No, babe, not true. Everybody is not doing that. Everybody can't do that. Now, I enjoy giving you guys these tutorials for design inspiration. I love to share if you want to make one similar or launch what I'm doing to put in your own designs to wear for yourselves or whatever. That's great. But I don't take too kindly to somebody trying to sell my designs. That is for me to make money off of. That's how I feel about it. Hey, I know you may have a different perspective, but I'm here to protect mine, okay? I am providing you all with a tutorial of how you can make such gorgeousness with the sleeves, just to show you guys the process of what I do, because I try to give you guys the details, the up close, the nitty gritty. I'm not trying to hide any, design flaws or stitching errors or, whatever you want to call it. Some people say, that's just part of the creative hand, however you want to, word it. I just try to be upfront. I don't try to give you any caca and tell you, oh, that's part of the design. When it's a technical error, that's not who I am as a designer. And I'm sorry if that comes across as being cocky. But again, I have too much respect for your hard-earned dollar. If I'm trying to encourage you to, become a customer and sell and purchase from my line, I'm just going to be honest with you about everything, because I want you to be satisfied. And I know a lot of people really don't know the difference. That's where a lot of times, you don't know until you've seen quality sometimes what quality is. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. God knows I'm not. I absolutely still have a lot to learn. I've been learning from you all here, my other wonderful sewists here in the YouTube community. But thank you guys for indulging me. This is just the first piece I'm sharing with you all and giving you the upcycle to it as well. The tutorial to it as well, along with the introduction to Upcycle Blues. So there's definitely more to come. I'm going to give you guys the full collection, I promise. So if anyone would like to see some of the wonderfully splendid garments that I've constructed using quilts, quilted items, quilted pillowcases, quilted blankets, especially these super dope quilted pants. I've made quilted skirts, quilted corsets, quilted jackets, quilted house slippers. Quilted. I'm having a quilt trip, okay? Check the link in the description. There are some wonderful inspiring tutorials available for you. Now, let's get back to it. I'm going to be making the top portion of my sleeve using a single quilted pillowcase that I'm going to cut in half and use the top portion for the top of my sleeve at the shoulder. And then I'm going to add some denim on the bottom and deck that out to make the sleeve length complete. To get started, I'm going to go ahead and remove the back lining off of my pillowcase. Now that my lining has been removed, I'm going to come in and press all of these wrinkles out because this fabric is going to expand once I do that, and that's going to give me just a little extra fabric space for laying out my pattern piece. So I'm going to come in and press this on both sides. Isn't this a beautiful pillowcase? The work on this is very intricate. I really like using these in my upcycles, and particularly for skirts. This would make a nice skirt. You could use this with some denim for a skirt. These are really great, of course, with jackets. This will make the perfect sleeve. The weight will go really well with the existing puffer that I'm using, and you can even make really cute shorts and vests with these. The iron is cordless. And friends, if you'd like to go ahead and check the link in the description box for this wool pressing mat that I'm using. This gray wool pressing mat is very thick, and it is really good to use directly on top of your rotary cutting mat. There's no moisture or anything like that coming through. So check the link in the description box for that and for this awesome iron too. All right. So I've made a full assessment of my pillowcase. I'm going to go ahead and figure out which way to fold it because I'm going to split it. I have two arms and so I need two different pieces, two different sleeves, a left and a right sleeve. So I'm just going to start by folding that in half. I've decided to use this for the top half of the sleeve. I can use this one if I choose, but I've just chosen this one. I just think I like the way that transitions off of that white jacket better. I'm going to go ahead and bring my pattern in and lay that out. And I'm just a little shy here, but I'm going to go ahead and fudge it. One thing you could do is just simply stitch a piece of fabric on both sides if you don't want to fudge like I'm doing, but I know this sleeve requires some gathers, so it's a nice size sleeve, so I have a little extra room to work with here, so I'm not going to worry about that very small portion on the sides. So I'm just going to pin this on and cut. Friends, I have decided to cut my pillowcase in half first and then cut each sleeve out one at a time, just to make sure that I get them as identical as I possibly can. And sometimes with all this great detailing on the opposite side, you cannot see what's going on the other side while the fabric is folded. So I decided to cut these out one at a time. Now we'll cut the piece out. Me and my rotary, tweedle-deedle-deedle-dee. Me and my rotary, tweedle-deedle-dee. Okay, that's the top half of the sleeve. Now we're going to do some fun design work here by bringing in a pair of denims that I'm definitely not going to wear anymore. Got a few bleach spotches on them, which is kind of cool. But somehow I'm going to incorporate that on my sleeve. And I'll do that off camera and we'll come back and see what I come up with. Okay, friends, first I want to apologize. My lighting is off today. My ring light just went out on me right before I decided to start recording, but the show must go on, so there's some kind of funky lighting. But what I'm doing right here is I'm actually just going to mark a line where the end of my fabric stops. I'm going to mark a line on my pattern piece so that I know how much I need for the bottom portion of the sleeve. So I'm going to go in and just draw a line directly on my pattern. And then I'm going to make sure that I add seam allowance to that. I'm going to add an inch seam allowance. So I'm going to just fold this back on the line that I've drawn. You can always cut it off and tape it back together if it's easier for you to work with it that way. But I'm just going to fold this back so that the extra parts of the sleeve aren't in my way. Kind of like that. And now I have this piece to work with, plus the addition of my 1-inch seam allowance for the remainder of my sleeve, which I'm going to cut out of my denim pants. So I've cut the leg off in such a way that I maintain this stitching detailing here. But as you can see, I have to play around with it to make sure I have enough coverage. So with that being said, I need to figure out how I'm going to lay this piece out. And it's not flat because of the portion that's going into the inseam. So I'm still debating. Okay, friends, here's part of the bottom of my sleeve, and I'm also going to harvest this pocket off of another pair of jeans I had in my stash for upcycles. I'm going to top stitch that on, and then this is going to be the final piece. It's going to be stitched on like this, and then I'll trim that up and get that ready to stitch on the bottom. Something like this, perhaps. Ooh. Upcycle Blues. But thank you guys for indulging me. This is just the first piece I'm sharing with you all and giving you the upcycle to it as well. The tutorial to it as well, along with the introduction to Upcycle Blues. So there's definitely more to come. I'm going to give you guys the full collection, I promise. I do want to remind you all, for those who may be tuning in for my very first sew along, I think I'm going to move the date from Friday to Saturday. Not completely sure, but if you would just turn on your notifications. I'm not sure. I think Saturday may be a better day for some people due to work obligations. I don't know. But after I thought about it, I'm like, oh, yeah, it might be a Saturday sew along might be better for more people than a Friday. But it doesn't matter. Even if you're not on when the video is launched, I'm gonna see about maybe going live for the first time too. But anyway, you can always at any time go back and check it out. So I will leave links in the description box for these other two upcycles that I did using puffer vest. And I cannot wait to share the remainder of the collection. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace and blessings.